calling all instructional coaches, curriculum specialists, teachers on special assignment, or whatever they call you. I'm Matteo Souza.
And I'm Katie Ritter. As instructional coaches, we are often responsible for our own professional learning and can sometimes feel pretty isolated in our role.
That's why we're here, bridging the gap with a wealth of tips, tricks, and building a community of coaches.
So hit the restart button with us.
Recharge your coaching batteries.
And hopefully you'll leave feeling just a little bit less on your own coaching island.
Welcome back to the Restart Recharge podcast, where we sit down with our coaches from all over and explore their journeys. Today we have Jordan Petrie and Torie Millette. First up, we have Torie. Torie's path led her to Cincinnati, where she taught high school English in rural districts. After earning her MAT from Miami University, she found a new way to use her passion for reading, writing, and learning to support other teachers. And we'll hear how this move from the classroom to coaching has been a natural progression in her mission to help others. And we also have Jordan here today. She is also an instructional design coach and Google certified educator. Jordan's expertise began in elementary classroom. Her passion for tech and creating engaging, personalized learning experiences for her students led her to her current role at Forward Edge. And we'll dive into how she helps districts connect with digital credentials throughout her work with Edu Badges and how she continues to champion personalized learning for all. We're so excited to have both of you here today. Thank you for joining us. And we'll go ahead and get started because today we're going to talk about your journey through education and how you made it to Forward Edge. So we'd love to just kind of hear more about just kind of like your start in education and how you got to this point.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, go for it. So I started as a kindergarten teacher, and I did that for 4 years. Kindergarten was definitely its own beast in the classroom, if any of you have coached in kindergarten classrooms.
And cannot imagine teaching a whole.
It was a lot. And then moved up to first grade, kind of stayed in the elementary realm, and then I decided that I was ready for a change, and I was ready to support teachers instead of students and maybe see more change outside of my own classroom and in education as a whole. So I found my way here. And then I've been coaching. This is my 4th year that I've been coaching. Torie and I actually have been coaching together all of these years. Wow. We've been like a package deal the past 3 years while Torie took the middle school and high school. And now we're kind of doing the same thing but at a new district. And so excited.
I know, I'm glad that we have you two together, and I'm glad you kicked it off by saying that, because you two have been like a little dynamic duo out in the coaching world, and so it's fun to have you both on the pod episode. Torie, your background.
I always tell people she's my partner, like when I'm out in the wild. I'm like my coaching partner, so I just like to call people that. I like to tell everybody that. But I started in high school English. I've taught 9th grade, 10th grade, all the way through 12th. I've made my own electives, things like that, but I was also a COVID teacher. So I vividly remember the day everything shut down, and Jordan, I think you were too, and I know that was probably very challenging for the littles.
That's a whole different episode.
Yeah, no kidding. But after we went back in session, I started in a new district, and I came across our very own Tracy Keogh, who was my coach, and she visited me every Wednesday, and we would talk about Taco Wednesday, which was my tradition. And I think she actually mentioned that on a podcast long ago.
She did. Well, before you were even part of
exactly.
the fam.
So I was very curious. I was like, what's this now that you do? And wanted her to tell me more. And so as things transitioned, I noticed that my desire to change things and make change for students needed to be to help teachers, because not a lot of people were investing time in teachers. So I wanted to take on that role. And so I got a little more info out of her. And then that was the summer I graduated from Miami. And I sent her an email. And then Tyler and I had an interview when I was at the beach that next week. And so then I ended up here. And now I handle the PLS events and coach with Jordan, obviously, and end up in high school setting like I like to be, just helping teachers. And then I can see that change and that impact a little more clearly than I could in the classroom. I don't think of myself as a former educator. It's just educating in a different way.
I love it. I want to, before we pivot and maybe talk about some of the coaching work and your team effort that you've been, this dynamic duo with coaching, will both of you also speak to a little bit of some of the additional work that you do with us here at Forward Edge? So we know that you're coaching and actively supporting teachers on a regular basis, but you also do a lot of supporting educators near and far in this other capacity. And Torie, you kind of just started touching on it, so maybe let's start with you. We'll go to Jordan.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different hats going going on because we all dabble in a little bit of everything. So I started off as the webinar coordinator back when we had the Forward Edge CNI at that time webinars, which has turned into me being the PLS events coordinator. Yeah. So anything that is internal, external events related, whether it be working with stakeholders, admin, potential customers, and then events to help train our own staff. Bryson Min, Ryan, and I are going to do the upcoming Candor and Cocktail training for public speaking and just finding that confidence. So that's a little bit of what I do behind the scenes for Forward Edge, but then there's also the Google travel. Mateus and I are going to Pittsburgh soon and just doing a little bit of that, traveling with the team to ISTE. There's always something interesting going on, and always switching gears to try to make events work for us and for the people in the rest of the company, but also for our staff and teachers.
I want to dig just a little bit deeper because I'm curious. I feel like a lot of our listeners will be able to resonate with this. Will you speak a little bit to why we switched from monthly webinars to just generally more events, like the kind of the trend that we were seeing with the monthly webinars?
I think the trend that we were seeing with the monthly webinars was that they had served their purpose for the time, and we saw a need for different kinds of events kind of come out of those webinars. Like, people were attending, but they wanted to see a little bit more. So like with the birth of the EDU Coach Network, transitioning that into virtual roundtables, virtual workshops, more virtual webinars. So seeing that, people wanted to see the information and hear it, but they also wanted hands-on experience as well. So we switched from that, but there's also times when we do need to do webinars for Forward Edge. So our reach is actually very far. We've got people from different countries that want to hear from us. So when we see those needs arise, we have them, but it's also just based on what we see the needs of the people are out there. So instead of having that monthly standing webinar, we switched it to what do people need at this particular time, especially because we do have those scheduled things happening in the network. We need events to complement those events that are happening within the coaching network.
For sure. Yeah, thanks for speaking to that, because I can picture a lot of coaches out there kind of grappling with things that they did that used to work really well that maybe aren't working as well anymore. So just some encouragement, like, don't be afraid to try something new and leave something behind that is no longer serving, the people that you're trying to or yourself to.
Yeah, pivot if you need to and do what works for your people. And that's what I like about what we do is we listen to the needs of our community and we pivot when it's appropriate.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Jordan.
So in addition to my coaching work here, I also serve as the Edu Badges content coordinator, and I do some work with different districts as well. On one side of that looks like managing that Edu Badges website, which I think I've talked about it
Elevator
on here before.
pitch, which Ed Badges, in case people don't know.
It's like a personalized PD option. It's a website where you can earn badges on whatever topic that you're looking for, which turns into PD credit and even credit hours to further your license. And it's really just a one-stop shop. So like anything that you want PD on under the sun, you can find in there. You can really quickly apply it to your classroom and then earn some points and some credit for it. So it's a lot of work on the back end with a team of coaches, creating all that content for people that are engaging in it, which is exciting to keep it relevant and all these new crazy technology tools, especially with AI, and just making sure that it stays up to date and everyone's learning what's relevant right now. So I manage that side of things, and then at the same time I kind of meet with people at districts that are starting to implement Edu Badges and trying to make sure that it aligns with their different district initiatives and the goals that they're working towards, specifically like that year or the next year, and really just picking out the different badges that really work for them and creating a plan for them and their educators so that Edu Badges might not be like this extra thing that they have to do where they're having to find things on their own, but it's actually set up for them in a way that really makes sense with their goals. So I've gotten to meet with some different districts from all over the U.S. and make sure that Edu Badges aligns with what they're doing. So that's been really exciting and a total shift from the instructional coaching in the building.
Yeah, I always call Edu Badges my extra tool belt tool as a coach. I love, especially my new school district I'm in, I just found out that they just are taking on badges.
Oh, good.
So,
that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm I kind of launched it hey, I know the person that does it also. It's an immaculate thing to have in your district. So, you know what I mean? I love that, like you said, it stays relevant. You're constantly keeping it up to date. Jordan works really hard to make sure everything's aligned with it. So I love that, you're a part of that and you're doing that.
I feel like it does, Do you feel like working with the district leaders to help them align their goals to the badge content that's available, do you feel like that has maybe strengthened your ability as a coach, right? We don't want to lead with tech first. You want to connect it to like the purpose and the outcome, or you know, has the coaching helped your ability being able to talk to districts? How has that influenced
I think
each
it
other?
goes both ways, because like I'm getting to meet with these decision makers and curriculum people where I see their side of things, of how they want everything to go at their school.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm the coach who's like trying to help the teachers do these things. Sometimes they don't even know that these things are going on, right? And being like that go-between for them. And then I've also had the teacher perspective where it's like, I don't know the tech we have, I don't know what goals we're working towards, they're telling me what to do. So like every role there plays like a different part in it, and it's cool to see all of it as well. And then it's also like hearing what all of these districts like are working towards. Some of them have a lot in common, like things are happening at the same time, we're all working towards these different things. And so that also can inform like what badges that we're putting on our platform, right? What do we need next? Like it helps me kind of keep my finger on the pulse a little bit there too. So it's kind of nice, it all works together.
Yeah.
Smart.
Well, speaking of technology, we can kind of shift gears in our conversation. When you're thinking about today's coaching practice, I feel like tech is always just a hot topic. What are some challenges maybe you've seen in your coaching experience when it comes to tech and integrating it into your district? What are some things that you saw either as challenges or maybe things that you saw as a benefit in your coaching practice?
I think the biggest thing that I notice across the board with tech and teachers is just like overwhelm. Just there's so much of it, and it's like the hot topic, you know. Everyone comes into the year, their admin tells them, hey, you have to use technology. And they kind of leave them with that. And then maybe a coach comes in and says, hey, I have all of these amazing ideas for you. Here's like 10 tech tools that you could possibly use, right, to meet your goals, and we're all excited about it. But then that leaves the teacher with like, now they have to sort through all those things. Now they have to make decisions about those things. They might have to learn those different things without support. So then that ends up just them saying, never mind, I don't want to do it at all. Or I'm too overwhelmed to even start. I don't know where to go from here. I think just like bringing it back a little bit almost has been like the strategy, helping them see like, hey, we can do one thing at a time. Tech doesn't have to be overwhelming. It can be really useful, but like it's also not something that you have to spend your time learning 10 new tools at the same time. So it can be really intentional. Overwhelm is definitely like the biggest thing I've seen in like trying to help with.
And as a coach, what would be like a top strategy? You see a teacher overwhelmed, like what is your go-to strategy? Like what's the first thing that you kind of help them through?
I think a very useful thing in that situation is just coming in and sitting in their classroom for a little bit. See what they have going on, see what they're teaching, and see what they're maybe currently doing that you could, you know, meet with them after and be like, hey, we could try something new. You don't actually have to do all that, right? You could do way less, but in a more intentional way. You can't really help unless you really see what's going on. So I think first thing is making sure you're building those relationships, getting in the classroom, you're seeing their perspective and what they're trying to do in their classroom, and then just bringing in your coaching expertise, like, hey, one thing could do all of these things, or let's just start with this, right? Just like helping them through the process and letting them know that they don't have to figure this stuff out on their own, and it doesn't have to be tomorrow. I think that like teachers are always like, it has to happen right now, but it really doesn't. We can slow down and not put that all on ourselves.
Yes. I have noticed a couple of trends when teaching with technology, and the thing that I lean on for myself is I don't like using tech for tech's sake. So I've got the teachers generally that are very not interested in integrating that because it is overwhelming, and then the ones that want to do something new with tech all the time. And so kind of going in, like Jordan said, and getting to know that teacher on a personal basis first is the best strategy, because going in and then doing what I like to do, which is word vomit tons of solutions to perceived problems, sitting and listening first and seeing what's actually going on before proposing any solutions, because sometimes there's not actually a problem. There's just something that you need to talk through, and you don't always need a new tool for the solution. It's, again, like you said, what can we use to maximize what we've got going on right now? What's one tool that can take care of 3 things on this list? But it all comes back to, how do you know this person? Because getting to know them as a human before getting to know them as a teacher makes them feel safer when you go to them with those proposed solutions, and it doesn't sound like you don't know what you're doing. Because there's a lot of insecurity there, especially with more veteran teachers, and then some very new teachers of, this is a lot all at one time.
Yeah.
So sometimes it sounds like you're doing it wrong instead of I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
So just kind of leaning on that personal connection with the teachers first and foremost to be able to support them has been the tried and true for me in a coaching setting.
Well, thank you so much, both of you, for starting us off in this conversation. We are going to have to do a part 2 because these are just 2 wonderful ladies that have been in the coaching game and doing wonderful things. So we will have a part 2 ready, and we'll kind of talk more about what it is like for both of them working together and also in a new space. So thank you all so much for watching Restart Recharge. Make sure you tune into our next episode. Talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks for spending time with us today. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with an educator friend.
And connect with us on social media at @RRCoachcast to let us know what you thought of the episode and what topics you want us to discuss next.
New episodes drop every other Tuesday. Be sure to subscribe to Restart Recharge wherever you listen to podcasts.
So press the restart button.
Recharge your coaching batteries and leave feeling equipped and inspired to coach fearlessly with the Restart Recharge podcast.
A Tech Coach Collective.